What would happen if Kirby Smart was not the head coach at the University of Georgia? I know that sounds like a crazy question, but it is early March, so this is the time for hypotheticals. Now, I'm not saying Kirby Smart is going anywhere. In fact, I think he's going to be at Georgia as long as he wants to. But if something were to happen, right, let's just throw it out there. If something were to happen and Kirby Smart was not the coach at Georgia, how many other active college coaches would be able to lead Georgia to a national championship? Now, I think it's an interesting question because right now, Georgia has it made. They've got the best coach in college football at a place where they have unlimited resources. I mean, some people think that the Georgia job is the best job in college football, and you could absolutely make the case, right? There's talent everywhere. There is some history within the program. There's no in-state major competitive rival that you have. There's so many reasons why the Georgia job is a great one. And Kirby Smart was the best man for the job. But I was thinking this week, how many other coaches would be able to take the Georgia program and lead them where Kirby has? Now, I'm not saying anyone out there is better for the Georgia job than Kirby Smart, but I think if Kirby Smart were not there, most Georgia fans may look to Glenn Schumann and say, that's the guy we want. Some of them may look to Dan Lanning and say, that guy would do a great job at Georgia. In reality, most will, because it's such a great job. Any coach that knows what they're doing, or any halfway decent coach, should be able to walk into Athens and do a great job and put together a championship caliber team. Some may not put together a championship team, especially not the way Kirby has. But I think if you threw Lane Kiffin in Athens, Lane would do a great job. I think Lane Kiffin could win a national championship at Georgia. I don't know about Mike Norvell, but he was a guy that Alabama liked a lot. But I have full faith that Glenn Schumann will be a head coach one day at the collegiate level. I think he's earned it. And I think if something were to happen to Kirby Smart, whether he just wakes up one day and says, you know what, it's just too much. And he gets to a point where a lot of coaches get, and they say, you know what, there's way too much involved right now. I know I get paid a lot as a college head coach, but I want to spend more time with my family, right? I could see Kirby Smart doing that down the road. Not anytime soon, but down the road. I think Glenn Schumann would be a great get. Just promote him. I think Georgia would be very good with him, or Dan Lanning. I think Mike Norvell would do a good job. I don't know if he'd bring a national championship to Georgia. Maybe. Could Dabo Swinney walk into Athens and build a championship powerhouse of a program? I don't know. Kalen DeBoer, I think there's big question marks surrounding him. I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to do good things at Alabama. I don't think he's going to pass Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart and the Dogs are ahead of Alabama right now. I don't care what happened last year. Georgia has 2 national championships since Alabama's won their last one. Georgia, as a program, is ahead of Alabama. And so, Kirby's the better head coach than Kalen DeBoer right now. Could that guy walk into Athens and do some big things? I think so. Lincoln Riley, I think, would build a great offense at Georgia, but Mike Bobo is already doing that. And the Mike Bobo haters are not going to like that, but Georgia's a program that has an elite offense and an elite defense. Lincoln Riley has never been able to put together a defensive staff that's worth anything and a defense that's worth anything. So he's one of the more overrated coaches in college football. Could he do big things at Georgia? Maybe, but he would need a guy like Dan Lanning or Glenn Schumann just running the defense and being like, dude, don't even come over here. Don't even come to this side of practice. You focus on the offense. We don't want any input at all from you as far as defensive strategy. That's what you have to tell Lincoln Riley. You do your thing. Stay on your side of the field. Ryan Day, I think, will win a national championship at Ohio State. Could he do that at Georgia? I think so. There's enough resources where a good coach should be able to do something. But no one, I think, would come into Athens and do what Kirby Smart did better than Kirby Smart and what he's doing right now. So, again, I don't want Kirby Smart to go anywhere because he makes my job easier. He makes my job better. And he's going to win more national titles at Georgia. I firmly believe that. But again, just an off-season video. This is a conversation video. You're not learning anything out of this. This is just something that you can sit back and enjoy and listen to and just think, wow, if Kirby wasn't at Georgia, if you're a Georgia fan watching this, who would you want in Athens? That's out there right now. I mean, what coach would you go get, or would you just promote Glenn Schumann? I think he would be, they'd be very deserving, right? Athens is not a place for Hugh Freeze. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. But again, I think Lane Kiffin is a guy that Florida should have hired years ago. Lane Kiffin would have turned the Gators around. That program would be winning right now. They would be competing. I mean, Lane turned Ole Miss around. Could you imagine what he would have done at Florida if they had any brains down there? Lane Kiffin was there. They could have hired Lane Kiffin, and they would be in a really good spot, especially compared to where they are right now. Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel's a good coach. Will he ever bring Tennessee a national championship? Right now, I lean no. Will he get them to the playoffs? Well, there's 12 teams now, so yeah, Tennessee will finally be able to sneak into the college football playoffs here and there. They're not going to be in there every year. Right? They're not Georgia. They're not Ohio State. Right? They're not going to be there every year, but occasionally he'll get them there. He could get Georgia there every year, I think. But at the end of the day, you have to remember how good Kirby Smart has been. He's the best coach in college football. He's proved that over the last several years for sure. But you got to remember, Kirby doesn't make the Georgia Bulldogs the Georgia Bulldogs. No one is bigger than the program and the organization, Kirby Smart included. So there's going to be a day where Kirby Smart is not the head coach at Georgia. And maybe that's 20 years down the line and they hire another former player to run the program, or a young recruiting ace that no one knows about right now because this hypothetically is happening down the road. Or is it in 5 years where Kirby says, you know what, I've won several national championships. I'm over the grind. I want to, finally spend a lot of time with my family. Who's the next guy? Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame? No. Brian Kelly at LSU? Could he win at Georgia? Probably. Could he win a national championship? Probably. He's a good coach. Good coaches should be able to take Georgia to a national championship. And Mark Richt almost did. People forget Mark Richt made Georgia a consistent competitor in the national championship. They were probably the second best team in the country, second or third in 2002. They won the SEC in in 2005, 2007. If there was a playoff in 2007, Georgia could have won the whole thing. They were playing as well as any team in the country in 2007. And you can make the case they were the best team at the end of the season. 2012, Georgia did play in the national championship game. It just happened to be in Atlanta, also called the SEC championship. But Georgia was the second best team in the country in 2012. 2014, they would have been really good if they had a quarterback, but they had Hudson Mason, so they were playing with their hand tied behind their back. No offense to Hudson, but he was not a good quarterback. Facts are facts. Hudson Mason just could not get the job done and would never be the University of Georgia quarterback in today's world. Under Kirby Smart, Hudson Mason ain't sniffing a scholarship at Georgia. That's might be harsh, but it's a fact, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm wondering, and you can leave a comment in the comment section below. Who do you think would do the best job at Georgia if his name is not Kirby Smart, right? Who do you want to be the head coach if Kirby Smart, for whatever reason? Again, I don't want this to happen. I'm just throwing it out there. Who could do the job maybe as well as him? But he's going to bring a national championship to Georgia again. I think several, maybe more than a couple. I don't know. That's up to him and the program. There's no ceiling to the Georgia Bulldog program. There's a ceiling just about everywhere else, but there's not one in Athens. Kirby Smart's going to try to find that ceiling, but there is none. He can take this program as far as he wants it, but could someone else do the same thing? That's kind of what I just thought about earlier this week, and I think it is an interesting topic. It's such a great job with so much resources that a good head coach, doesn't even have to be a great head coach, a good head coach who knows what he's doing and can recruit and put together a staff should be able to walk into Athens and turn that program into a championship caliber team. Kirby Smart's already done it. Right now, they've got the best coach in the best spot, but it's not going to be like that forever, right? But if there's one active college football head coach out there that you think could do as well as Kirby or come close or still continue to bring championships to Athens, Georgia, who do you think it is? Drop a comment in the section below. We enjoy reading those. Thanks for watching this video. You can, of course, sign up to Dawg Post. We're always talking about the dogs over on the website. Lots of insider scoop, team scoop, recruiting scoop. We've got it all, so make sure you check us out. You can do that by signing up to our free newsletter. That link is right down below. It's easy to sign up. It's free to sign up. You can do that there. Hope you enjoyed this video, but really hope to see you over on the website.